For anybody listening, do you mind kind of giving them a brief introduction about yourself, the sport that you played, in the school that you attended, as well as the school that you're currently also at?
Yeah, so thank you for that. My name is Victoria Schmer, and I currently play volleyball at the University of West Georgia, but I actually completed my undergrad at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, where I spent the last 4 years playing volleyball and being a captain there.
Reflecting on your journey, specifically maybe at Alabama, even transitioning from Alabama to West Georgia now, how has your journey as a student athlete been, both academically as well as athletically?
It's been great in both of those different sectors. I mean, academically, we had so many great resources at Alabama. We had our own personal advisors and just people who were there to hold our hand every step of the way. So I felt very supported academically. And then that torch has carried into West Georgia. The staff here is also amazing. I'm in the MBA program now, so it's a lot smaller and there's a lot smaller class sizes. So it's very easy to forge new relationships and just be more one-on-one with your professors opposed to a big school like Alabama. So academically, I would say it's gone great at both schools. And then you can't ask for a better experience than Alabama athletics. It's arguably the best university in the country for athletics. There's a few other that are up there, but just the support that I felt as an athlete there and then the support that I gave to other teams, it was just a once in a lifetime experience that I'm forever grateful for every single day. And I still pinch myself and I'm like, "Wait, did I actually play at Alabama, like, or is that just, like, a dream?" And then going into West Georgia, it's been a different vibe, but one that I've loved equally. The teams are really great, and I see a lot more of the teams every day. At Bama, we're a lot more spread out, and here it's been more of a family environment because it is a smaller school, but it's been great.
When it comes to balancing academics and athletics, that can get a lot, right? You have practices, workouts, all of that type of stuff with volleyball, but then you also have to balance a full course load, maintain good grades, show up to the classroom, and thrive not only academically, but athletically as well. And so, how are you able to, I guess, manage both of those? And were there any strategies that you were able to use, whether that was something from, the Academic Success Center, or whether that was something that you personally used to kind of say, hey, this really helped me balance both.
Yeah, so I love school. Like I have always loved school. I like, just love learning and I was very interested in my coursework, so that did help me a lot. Because I feel like when you're not interested in what you're doing, it's a lot harder to want to do those tasks. But along with the help that I received from just my advisors overall, I think time management was a skill I had to learn very quickly jumping in freshman year. And freshman year, it really was a wake up call because I'd never been challenged in high school academically. So when I got to Bama, it's more courses. I entered in with some credit, so I was already in sophomore classes. So it really was just about like doing my work first so that I can do my hobbies on the side. Because I also really value my personal time and doing my hobbies outside of volleyball in school. So I kind of grinded at the beginning of the week so that I could have that freedom at the end of the week.
Talking a little bit more about, I guess, mental health awareness, I know that this has become a little bit of a bigger topic within sports and specifically collegiate athletics as well over the past couple of years with, professional athletes coming out as far as, hey, I was, I had some anxiety, some depression that I was going through, and here's what I was doing to work on that. From your experience, both either, at Alabama, now at West Georgia, how, I guess, important do you believe mental health awareness is within collegiate sports, and how has it played a role within your own athletic career as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, the statistic that just has blown everybody's mind is how suicide is now the second leading cause of death in athletes. And I feel like that statistic shows how important mental health is, especially when we're high level athletes being asked to compete at a high level, go to class, be, good people on top of that. And so, in my mental health journey, it definitely was a journey. And where I'm at now is drastically different from where I was at my freshman year. And I definitely would say that freshman year was the hardest year by far, like beat it out by, a lot because freshman year, there's just a lot of new and you get overwhelmed because you're now a small fish in a big pond. And when you come on these teams, especially a sport like volleyball, there's only 15 to 16 girls and all of them were also the best at their respective high schools and regions and you come and you're not the best of the best anymore. And mentally, that just takes a toll on you, especially when you add in maybe a lack of playing time, because not a lot of freshmen get playing time. and it really does take a toll on your mental health. So from freshman year to where I am now, there's definitely been a drastic growth journey because I no longer put my worth in my playing time or my performance on the court, and that's definitely been the biggest switch for me and how I'm in a great mental state playing volleyball every single day now.
Were there any specific challenges that you remember or encountered as a student athlete? And what were some of the steps that you took in order to overcome that specific hurdle?
Yeah, I just touched on it a little bit, but I would say that the lack of playing time my freshman year was the biggest hurdle that I had to face. Like I said, like I was the number one player in the state of Alabama. Like I was riding on a high coming out of senior year of high school, and then I get to Alabama and there's two great senior liberos ahead of me, as well as a couple juniors and sophomores. So it's like I'm kind of at the bottom of that totem pole, and it's not like I'm working any less hard, but at the end of the day, like they have years of experience and training and the training that the college specifically wanted. And just taking that realization and not getting the reps in the bro spot or, in that DS role in practice, the realization was coming every single night. It's like, well, like, what if I don't play? What if I don't play? And it's like, kind of the anxiety as you mentioned earlier of, "Well, am I not good enough? If this is what I've been working toward my whole life, and now I'm not even playing, like, what's the point of me?" You know? And it did get really dark, and I know a lot of my teammates, especially, like, the 4 freshmen that I came in with, we all were having those similar experiences. But I think in order to overcome that hurdle, I had to do a lot of self-reflection, and I had to do a lot of, deep discovery into who I was outside of volleyball. And that's when ultimately I got really involved with church and I realized how I'm so much more than just a volleyball player. I'm a great friend, I'm a great daughter, I'm a great sister, and I think that those things are so much more important than people realize because at the end of the day, you play for 4 years in college, most of us don't go play professional, and you have the rest of your life to be a great person, and you're so much more than what you can produce on a court or how many minutes that you play. And having to realize that at 18 is really hard because you're still a little immature, you wanna play, you wanna have that, swagger about yourself, so that's what I would say.
What was the support system like for you during that period as far as, kind of transitioning from senior in high school to freshman in college, kind of trying to find yourself along that way and in that journey? I know personally, I had a good relationship with my parents, so I was able to kind of, talk through a few things. But again, it wasn't very sports specific necessarily, as far as hey, they understand what happens, throughout practice or during the games or in the locker room. It was more very generalized. But were you able to tap into any school resources, any friends, family members, in order to kind of seek that extra level of support?
Yeah, so I was very blessed to only be an hour away from home. So I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I went to school in Tuscaloosa, which it's literally an hour and 15 from my house. And so my family was able to support me, especially my parents. They're not together, but they both live in Alabama, which is really great for me. And I think on the school side, we do have an amazing mental health center at Alabama. And my freshman year, I actually did seek sports psychology to help me with that and to help with a little bit of performance anxiety and practice and a few of the things that you touched on as well. So between my family and between my relationship with Jesus and just the mental health institute, it was all three like the best support system I can ask for.
Flipping the script again, I want to be a little bit more positive, right? We talked about some of the challenges, some of the different hurdles in college. And I want to flip the script now and talk a little bit about how you define success. Because for me, that was ever evolving from the time I stepped foot on campus all the way until the time that I graduated. But ultimately, I'd love to hear how you define success as a student athlete and what that meant to you.
Yeah, so like you said, I mean, it definitely has changed a lot over time. Freshman year, me probably would have said that I defined success in how many digs I got or how many, like, if I got to play. And I think just over the years, transitioning my personal success is how I can glorify God and everything that I do and different things like that. And into senior year, it was like, I had so much freedom while playing because I wasn't worried about my dig numbers or how many aces I got. It was how can I use this opportunity and this platform that I have to glorify God and give him, everything that he's given me back. And so just that little flip has changed my life so much and just it's been amazing to experience and the freedom that I've felt just in sports alone has been mind blowing because it's like I had so many. I feel like I had chains on me when I was playing my freshman and sophomore year because I was afraid to make mistakes. And moving into junior and senior year, it was like when I leave this gym, that's gonna be that. I'm gonna leave this gym, and I'm still, a person outside of this. And that was really the main flip that I had to have success, and I was a lot happier as well.
think it ties in perfectly to this next question, and it's going to be an interesting one due to your situation. I don't want to put any pressure on the school itself, but Alabama is a powerhouse SEC school, right? When you think of them, you think of top tier athletics, regardless of the sport in general. And in general, you think of them as being, the number one team for anything down the list, whether it's football, baseball, volleyball, soccer. And so that can be a ton of pressure on the athletes. And I'm sure that you faced a lot of pressure between freshman year and senior year. But for you, how are you able to manage those pressure situations, not only from, being at Alabama, wearing the A across your chest, stuff like that, but also pressure of maintaining grades, performing well on the court, and all of that, and being able to then again graduate early in 3.5 years?
Yeah, I think in order to maintain that pressure, it's really all about having a heart full of gratitude. I think in today's world, it's all about like what we have to do. But in my scenario, it was like, I get to do this. I have the privilege of doing this. And there's thousands and thousands of girls in my position and around the country, around the globe that want to be wearing this jersey and want to have this spot. And even across the world, there's women who want to get degrees who can't do that. And so, it's acknowledging that I have all these great things and I have all these blessings that I get to do. And so I think just switching my mindset from, I have to go to practice, I have to go to class. It's like, no, I'm getting a degree from a world renowned institution and playing at arguably one of the best schools in the country. So I think that that's just the mindset that you have to have and just being really grateful.
This question too is kind of tied towards maybe high school, maybe early in college, your time at Alabama, whatever you want to, whatever time frame that you think would be beneficial. I'll let you choose. But if you could go back to any of those points and say to the younger Victoria, hey, Victoria, this is the advice that I'd love for you to have so that you can be better prepared going into XYZ circumstance, whether it's going from freshman or going, senior into freshman year, whether it's going from Alabama to West Georgia, whatever it might be, what advice would you give for, a smoother transition or to just be better prepared as an athlete?
I think better preparement wise, I would tell myself to just be easy on myself because you train your whole life to go to college and then you get to college and the girls are still better than you because they have years of experience on you and you can't make up time. Like that's the one thing that you can't you can't close that gap of, oh, they have 3 years of playing in the SEC, whereas I have zero. And it's like you can't change that no matter what, unless you have genie in a bottle somewhere that can grant you those wishes because and let me know where that is because I would go back in time and change that. But and then I think just advice in general is just to enjoy it. It goes so fast. I mean, I'm on my 5th year and I'm like, how's it already gone? And I'm like, do I get a 6th year? Because it's gone by so fast and just thinking about how the years have just sped up over time. Like I feel like I got to college and now I'm getting my MBA and I'm graduating in December. And it's just crazy to me. So that's what I would say.
I want to start ending the conversation on a little bit of a bright note. I try and do this with everybody just because, again, as athletes, we all love reliving those glory days. I know you're still in the midst of it, but reliving again some of those favorite memories, whether it's from high school, early on in college, even currently, right? What are some of those favorite memories for you if you had to list one or two? And, again, it can be athletically, it could be just as a college student, it could be, wherever you are. But, what would one or two of those favorite memories be for you?
I have 2 that immediately come to mind. So the first one is at Alabama, just the experiences that we got to do that are just crazy and no one else gets to do with girls that, your coaches recruit and they turn into your best friends and they'll be bridesmaids in my wedding. Like those relationships that I formed are just so special to me and just memories all hold on together, even if it was just going to find a sweet treat at a tournament and leaving the hotel and walking to go get one because we wanted to do that together and just all those little funny memories and the laughs that we shared and just having those girls be my best friend. And then Currently, I transferred to West Georgia, but I don't think a lot of people know that my childhood best friend also plays volleyball here, which was one of the biggest reasons that I chose to come here. And so we have known each other since we were 5 years old, best friend in the whole world, and we get to finish our volleyball careers together, which is extremely special. And we have a lot more memories to unlock, but that's just one that sticks out to me because it's gonna, stretch out over this year, and it's just gonna be a very special time for us both. So.
Playing with your best friend is probably one of the coolest ways to be able to end your college career. And so I'm super excited for you. But in closing, I know we covered a lot from A to Z. Is there any last piece of advice, wisdom, knowledge that you've kind of gained or experienced over your years as a collegiate volleyball player? And is there one short little mantra that you've lived by that you'd like to share that's been something beneficial to you that you love to pass along to somebody else that could potentially help them out either in their journey as a high school to collegiate athlete or collegiate into post college? Now they're kind of moving on to their real world life, job, all of that. Is there something that you'd like to leave with those listeners today and just kind of be of help to them?
Something that kinda came to mind to me is just find an outlet. For me, it's, my faith, and I love to read books, and I love to be outside, and you have to have those things that you value outside of academics and volleyball and your work if you're in the workforce. Like, what do you love to do outside of work? Like, what makes you uniquely you outside of work? And I think just figuring out those things and pouring into them and being really great at them, because at the end of the day, you're so much more than your job title or your athlete status or, just any of those things. So just finding what you love and pouring into that.
Again, I can't thank you enough for your time today and just your openness to share your story as far as high school to college to graduate school now. Super awesome career journey too. You've accomplished so much in your time frame. And again, super excited to see kind of what happens the rest of your time at West Georgia, as well as post West Georgia too. Excited to hear all of the great things that you're going to be able to accomplish in the near future. But again, for everybody listening in, we are going to link all of Victoria's social medias below that she would like you guys to check out. Again, go give her a follow on those. And then other than that, we will talk with you guys next week in our new podcast episode.